Good day, everybody. This is Swan with BlackBoxStocks. Glad to be back with you. Today is CPI Wednesday. We had CPI come out this morning. However, I want to go over some flow that we saw yesterday afternoon that a lot of people wonder, is there any way to get clues on how the market's going to react to certain numbers? And sometimes, most of the time, the answer is no. We see people YOLOing long, we see people YOLOing short. But here's what we saw yesterday, which was really interesting. So in order to do this, this is another great advantage of Black Box is the historical side of the flow. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to go to the historical, and I'm going to click on yesterday. So the 11th start and also the 11th end. And I'm going to focus on some flow that came in late in the day. Let's first do QQQ. Okay. There was a line of flow that came in at about 3:30, so about a half an hour to go, and it was about $1 million. It's this line of flow right here. So you can see this guy right here. This came in, like I said yesterday, around 3:30, so it'd be right around this time frame, as you can see. And they were buying the 370s. Currently at that point, QQQs were going for about 367, as you can see here. 367.18 is when that line of flow came in, is what the spot price was. This person came in and dropped 12,500 contracts at 80 cents a piece, almost $1 million, a couple $100 short of $1 million. On today's expiration, so these contracts expired within 24 hours and they're dropping $1 million on this long side. Huge play. It was 80 cents. I know many of us followed it. I did as well. By the time I got in, because I was fumbling around doing something else and I heard them talking about it on our voice channel, by the time I got in, I got filled to like $1.25 because this climb started happening when I entered. Again, not a lot of contracts. This is not something you would go heavy in because it truly is a YOLO, or, a contract that expires within 24 hours. And then the CPI came out and obviously played out very, very nicely. Now, does this happen every time? Absolutely not. But this is this is a line of flow that catches our attention regardless of news. Why? Three things. One is the expiration. Two is the size. And three, it's the color of the flow. So let me explain. This expired in 24 hours. That's of interest. Why is it of interest? Because it was $1 million worth. This one here was only 188,000. That doesn't catch my eye. No, it doesn't. Because for QQQ, that's nothing. But when I see $1 million come into something that expires next day, that's going to catch my eye. Secondly, the line of flow is yellow. Yellow means it exceeds open interest. That means that is an opening transaction. Call, paid above the ask. There were not 12,500 contracts left open, so they could not be closing any of those out. That is someone opening that position, and it played out beautifully on the chart. Another one that I want to talk about is the SPY that came out yesterday during the market hours. And it was the 442s. Let me find that real quick. With the expiration of yesterday. So here you go. These came in at about 3 o'clock. So again, about an hour to go before they market closed. And that's when these expired. Someone dropped about $500,000, if you add that up, about $500,000 into contracts that expired in 60 minutes. And they were buying the 442 calls. And at the time, SPY was around 441. And they paid 19 cents. All right. Price went up a little bit on the ticker, but look at the contract price. It went down. So they cut their position, about half of it here. You can see that was a call on the bid. There was about 59.42 contracts. They're like, this isn't going the way I thought. I'm going to take half of them off. But they left the other half, and someone bought more of them at 20 cents a little later in the day. Well, then this is what happened in the last half an hour of the day. SPY just continued to climb. I think at the end of the day, these obviously did finish in the money. So if anybody held on to those, they would be exercised yesterday evening. But I think at some point, I know many in the room followed this flow because, again, highly unusual. $500,000 into something that expires within 60 minutes? Yeah, we're going to watch that. We're going to pay attention to that. I think these ended up going for as high as like almost $2 a contract. I don't have the math in front of me, but it was ridiculous how quickly they started climbing once it got into the money, and they went all the way up to 443. So yeah, it was probably more like a $1.25, a $1.50 on the high end. So those are the things that we look for in option flow, and we talk about it all day live on voice in our channels. We're talking about it in chat. So hey, come hang out. Black Box Stocks, stay green. We'll catch you next time.